J.D. Emmert earned 9 letters at Capitol High from 1994 to 97, 4 in track, 3 in football, and 2 in basketball. On the gridiron, he quarterbacked the 1996 Bruins to an undefeated state championship. J.D. was selected first-team All-State and the Class AA Offensive MVP. Emmert established at least 14 CHS records, including 430 yards passing and 6 touchdown passes in one game, and career totals of 3,629 yards passing and 40 TD passes. At Carroll College, he led the nation in passing as a junior and wound up with 5 Saints records, amassing lifetime marks of 8,484 yards passing and 58 TD passes. A 2-time Frontier Conference MVP, Emmert led the Saints to the NAIA playoff semifinals twice. His senior year, he made honorable mention All-American. Russ Sheriff was a member of 2 state basketball championships at Helena High in 1953 and 1954, making All-State both years. As a senior with the Sheriff and his posse gang, the 6'6" post player scored 461 points for a 17.7-point average. In track and field, Russ won the 1954 state discus crown, establishing a school record of 149 feet 9 inches, and placing runner-up in the shot put. Collegiately, Sheriff led the Montana Grizzly Cagers in rebounding his final 3 seasons, setting the UM career record of 788 boards, which lasted for 17 years. Sheriff still holds the school's single-game rebound mark of 26. In 1958, he received the C.R. Dragstead Award as the Grizzlies' MVP. Sheriff was later inducted into Montana's Basketball Hall of Fame. For the UM track team, he was the 1955 Skyline Conference Discus Champion and placed conference runner-up 3 times. Russ went on to become an accomplished handball player and golfer. Jason Crebo, a Capitol High and University of Montana graduate, is the only local football player to earn 3 NCAA Division I All-American selections. He was also a stellar Legion baseball player and CHS track athlete. In 1993, he hit .386 for the Senators, and in track he won the crosstown javelin event with a throw of 182 feet 4 inches. As a senior Bruin Gritter, Crebo was named first-team All-State at both linebacker and tight end. He was chosen as a 1992 Class AA Defensive MVP and the Montana Gatorade Player of the Year. At the UM, Crebo was a 3-time first-team All-Conference and All-American linebacker, amassing 297 career tackles. His final 2 years, the 6'4", 235-pounder, was named the Big Sky Defensive MVP. Crebo helped the Grizzlies to 4 conference championships and 2 NCAA title games, winning the 1995 National Championship and taking second in 1996. After college, Jason had a tryout with the NFL Buffalo Bills. The late Ace Kendrick was a devoted advocate of American Legion baseball for over 35 years. Beginning in 1949, some of Kendrick's official titles included chairman of the Helena Post No. 2 Baseball Committee, the Senators' business manager, and the Central League commissioner. He also served as the team bus driver and mechanic, worked with the city to raise funds to renovate the ballpark, helped secure 2 regional tournaments in Helena, and even sold tickets in the ticket booth. And once, when the public address system failed, Ace actually sang the national anthem to start the game. The Legion Field is named in his honor. The 1953-54 Helena High basketball team garnered the state title, downing Sidney 56-51. Helena High finished with a 25-3 record. Their .893 winning percentage and 14.93-point winning margin are both the fourth best in school history. HHS beat Anaconda and Livingston in their first two games of the state playoffs. In the finals against Sidney, the sheriff and his posse gang were down by 8 points with 2.5 minutes to play, but rallied back to win by 5. It was Coach Lloyd Score's second of 3 consecutive state crowns. The late Kirk Johnson was a standout high school basketball and baseball player in the 1960s. He is the only Legion player in local history to win 3 team batting titles, compiling a career average of .355. In 1967, he paced the Senators in 7 offensive categories, including a .379 batting average. His final season, Johnson established team records for hits and stolen bases, while leading Helena to their first ever state Legion championship. Legendary Billings coach Eddie Bain called Johnson the best fielding shortstop in the state. On the hard court for the Helena Bengals, his senior year, Kirk averaged 21.5 points per game and was selected first team All-State. He scored over 30 points in a game 4 times. Johnson's career average of 18.7 points is the second best in HHS history. Blessed with an uncanny eye-to-hand coordination, Kirk was also an extraordinary golfer. He captured 1 Helena City tournament, 5 Green Meadow Club championships, and 2 Western Montana amateur titles. The 1991-92 Helena High girls basketball team went 22-2 and captured their second straight Class AA crown, beating CM Russell 79-50 in the title contest. In the semifinals of state, HHS met the powerful Bozeman Lady Hawks, who had only 1 loss all year, that being to Helena, by the way, and were riding a 20-game win streak. But the Lady Bengals prevailed 55-48 to advance to the finals. Coach Steve Keller, who amassed 6 state championships over his career, once said that this team was the best team he ever coached.
Admits Lady Rustlers were simply being outclassed in every facet of basketball. Midway through 3, Julie Brown's jumper turned the game into a rout, 49-33. Brown led all scorers with 24 points. Cindy Lockett for 2 easy points. Katie Downs goes in uncontested, and the game was essentially over. And Keller began pulling out senior starters one by one. When the clock ticked no more, the Bengals were state champions.
Emily Ney Jameson compiled 10 state distance running championships with Capital High from 1992 to 1995. She achieved a remarkable quadruple double in track, winning both the 1600 and 3200 state crowns all 4 years, while helping CHS to a state runner-up finish as a senior. Emily still holds the school records in both distances and was a 2-time Montana Gatorade Athlete of the Year. In cross country, she captured 2 state titles and took second twice. At BYU, Ney was part of cross country and indoor track NCAA National Team Championships. In track, She was a three-time All-American, her best showing being a third-place finish in the 10,000 meters at the 1998 National Outdoor Championships. In 2003, she was a member of the Seoul Ekiden USA team and the Deseret News 10K champion. Emily was the top American finisher at the World Half Marathon Championships in New Delhi, India in 2004. The late Frank Ursich was the first Helena High athlete to letter in 4 different sports: track, football, basketball, and wrestling. A first-team All-State gritter at fullback and defensive tackle, he helped the Bengals to the 1958 state runner-up finish, rushing for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the title game lost to Kalispell. In track and field as a sophomore, he won the JC Relays pole vault and helped the 880 relay squad to a runner-up finish at the 1957 state meet. In 1958, the 6'2", 200-pounder won the state discus championship with a new school record of 157 feet, 7.5 inches. His senior year, he was the Bengals' top scorer in the field events. Frank tied for 5th in the heavyweight division of the 1959 state wrestling meet. Ursich received a football scholarship to the University of Kansas, but returned to play for Carroll College after an injury. Heather Lewis McNeil, a sprinter at Helena High from 1990 to 93, set at least 5 state records at the girls' state track meets, which still stand. 8 state championships, 4 individual and 4 relays, 15 career state medals, 94 career points scored at state meets, 3 individual state titles in 1 meet, and 34.5 points scored in 1 state meet. She is also tied with 3 other HHS marks at the state meets. Heather helped the Lady Bengals to a state runner-up finish in 1991, sweeping the 100, 200, and 400-meter dashes and being part of the winning 1600 relay and the runner-up 400 relay. She still owns the school records in the 100 in 12.1 seconds, the 200 in 25.37, and the 457.2. At North Dakota State University, she was an 8-time NCAA All-American, 6 times with the 1600 relays and twice with the 400 relays. Emily Pasha Decam was the founder of the Helena Girls Track Invitational in 1968, serving as the meet's director, organizer, and promoter until 1975, as well as a coach and staying involved until 1978. Back in 1959, she helped start the first ever girls track program in Helena in her PE class at HHS under the auspices of the Girls Athletic Association. Emily helped organize and co-coach girls track teams at the GAA and AAU levels from 1961 until 1964, when she left to teach in Alaska for 3 years. After returning to Helena in 1967, track had become a sanctioned MHSA sport, and it was at that time that Emily started the freshman girls track program at Helena Junior High. The 1970-71 Helena High basketball team won the state championship, defeating Billings West in the finals 76-72 in overtime. The Bengals scored over 100 points twice during the season, with a high of 108 versus Libby, which is the second highest game total in school history. HHS went 21-5, setting a school record of 78.3 points per game average, which has never been broken. At the state tournament, Coach Dick Kinzer's Cagers beat Great Falls High 60-52 and Havre 91-55 to get to the finals versus Jude Gleason has been involved in local sports for over 50 years as an athlete, coach, and athletic director. Jude was a member of the Girls Athletic Association and Helena High Age Club and was also part of the 1954 Helena Freezer State Championship fastball-softball team. Gleason co-coached girls AAU track in the early 1960s and was involved in establishing girls track as a sanctioned MHSA sport in 1967. She was also one of the first co-coaches of the HHS Lady Bengals Tracksters. At Capitol High, where Jude was the school's first female track and cross-country coach, she guided the Bruins to the 1974 State Harrier Championship. Serving as CHS's athletic director from 1976 to 93, Gleason was instrumental in helping to develop the girls' gymnastics and softball programs. Bud Bellis was a four-sport athlete at Helena High from 1946 to 49. He received 10 letters and played 3 seasons of Legion baseball. The Bengals grid quarterback and punter his last 3 years. As a senior, he led the entire nation in punting with 2,430 yards and a 45-yard average, both of which are still school records. Bellis was voted 1948 first-team All-State. He went on to punt collegiately for Southern Methodist University and the University of Montana. Bud was the first-team All-State hoopster his final season, scoring 457 points for a 16.9 per game average. In track and field, at the 1949 state meet, he placed in 4 events: 3rd in the pole vault, broad jump, and high jump, and 5th in the javelin. As a shortstop and pitcher for the Helena Legion, in 1948 he was the team's second leading hitter with a .307 batting average. Bellis went on to a career as a golf pro, including a 2-year stint on the PGA Seniors Tour in the 1980s. Terry Screener was a 3-sport athlete at Helena High and at the University of Montana in 1959 and 60. He became the only Helenan ever to make NCAA Division I All-Conference in 2 different sports. On Helena's Legion, in 1956 he posted a .454 average for a new team batting record and also led the pitching staff with a 6-2 mark. In basketball, he made 1957 first-team All-State forward, averaging 19.4 points per game. Terry helped the Bengals to a 4th-place finish at state, leading all scorers in the playoffs with a 24.5 average, and was named tournament MVP. With the HHS track squad, he was the 1957 state high jump champion. At the UAM, Screener earned all Skyline selections in both basketball and baseball. In 1960, he paced the conference in hitting with a .452 average and made All-American. Terry went on to play 2 years of minor league baseball in the Cleveland Indians farm system.